Welcome everyone to today's advanced hosting with Swimply webinar. I am sharing a screen for those of you who are in the Zoom session. I think the joiners have kind of slowed down, so I'll go ahead and get started. Just a few housekeeping items. Firstly, this is indeed a recorded session. If you guys could kindly mute your line so we don't get any unnecessary or unintended feedback. Please leverage the wonderful chat box feature. My colleague James is checking on the chat to see if you guys have any questions you choose to type in as opposed to verbally sharing. James?
Hey guys, so as some of you may know from past webinars, the presentation is going to be amazing. Lauren is always amazing. If, however, should any questions come to mind while Lauren is going through her presentation, just shoot them quickly into the chat box. I will be typing away and answering as many questions as I can.
Thank you so much, James. And we can go ahead and test out the chat box feature now. If you guys can drop a note and let us know where in the world you are dialing in from so we can get acquainted. At the end, we will have a Q&A session. And then finally, if you guys have not participated in one of these before, we will do a Zoom breakout session. So at the end, we will put you guys in small virtual groups with fellow hosts so you guys can chat about whatever's comes to mind. All right, so the agenda, I'll introduce myself. We'll talk about brushing up your listing, marketing your business, the newer good neighbor policy, the Swimply protection guarantee, and then again, we'll circle back with some Q&A. A bit about me. So I am a host just like all of you. I started hosting last summer out of Long Island, New York, my home area. And I learned about Swimply via Instagram post. Last summer, I started a little late and I could kick myself for it now, but I started around July 31st. And over the span of 1 month, I secured 52 bookings. At that point, I was blown away. Swimply actually asked me to participate in a Bloomberg feature, which I did, which was awesome. And then I asked if I could support them in any other way. And here I am today as your head of host education. So a pleasure meeting you all. So over time, I like to check in on a couple of different items, making sure I'm staying current and performing at the top of my game as a Swimply host. Some of the things you guys may want to take a look at. One, your title and description. Make sure your description is creating a nice ambiance and experience for your swimmer. Describe the space, talk about what you may offer complimentary, indicate all of your amenities, anything that will entice more swimmers to book with you. Certainly revisit your photography. At least 5 photos, but why not utilize the full 10 that Swimply allows us to upload? Make sure your pictures are horizontal in nature. If you're using a professional camera, please use the 3:2 ratio. And make sure you're letting folks know what the space holistically looks like. Not just a zoomed in image of your pool itself. They want to know entirely what they're getting. The third point is broadening your availability horizon. So 2 parts to that. One, you can make your pool available as early, meaning as many months early as you would like, so you could start accruing bookings as soon as possible. So for example, Swimply allowed me to set it up so that I made my pool available for May bookings as early as March. That's awesome because I was collecting tons of bookings and reservations. And as soon as my pool was actually open, I was hitting the ground running. Also, take a look at your calendar. Maybe since you guys last really looked at your calendar, or you just weren't aware, you can only block out a certain part of the day if you'd like. Maybe you know your friends, your personal friends want to come use the pool from 12 to 2, but you want to get bookings on either side of that. If you go into your calendar, you select the date, long hold the date, and then you'll get a pop up where you can just pick a portion of the day that you want to block out so you can still receive other reservations throughout the day. Next, cancellation. It's just not cool. Now, in theory, because we're all keeping up with our calendars, hosts, and making sure that it's accurate, we shouldn't have too many reasons for which we would need to cancel. Now, of course, there can be inclement weather, but in those cases, rather than canceling out your reservation, please communicate with your swimmer. Ask them what, an alternative date that may work for you. And if you guys can reach an agreement, block off that time in the calendar. If they can't adjust it themselves, if they're outside the window where they as a swimmer can adjust it, you block off the time in your calendar. Let's say it's the following day for the same time frame, and then just shoot an email to hostcare@swimply.com. Ask them to adjust it in the back end so you can properly see it reflected in the app. Next, referral credits. I love, love, love referral credits because I feel like I'm sharing the good news of Swimply with others, and I'm getting paid as I'm doing that. So for any swimmers we recommend or refer to the app, we get a $5 credit, and then the swimmer gets we get a $5 cash credit, and then the swimmer gets a $5 Swimply credit to use towards their booking. Now, if we refer a host to Swimply, that's a host, then once they sign up and complete their first complete successful booking, then we get $100 cash. That's awesome. So definitely share the word with your friends. Finally, review your pricing. Supply and demand is constantly changing within the Swimply app. That could be due to the weather being better or worse. It could be due to more or less other pools in your area, more or less swimmers in your area. Make sure you're going in and reviewing your pricing to ensure that you are being competitive against other pools in your area. What I highly encourage doing is switching over to the swimmer view. And once you're in the swimmer view, search like you're looking for your pool. Put in your zip code. Then you'll see where in the pool results order you fall, which I'll talk about more in a second. And you'll also see how you're pricing against other pools. Make sure you're not charging exorbitantly higher or lower than they are. I'm going to ask James to actually drop a video that we worked on, which gives a bit more detail around how to make sure you're pricing optimally. So grab that, save it, take a look. A couple of newer features to the app for an improved experience. By now, you guys probably are familiar with the multi-dip option. This is really nice because it basically incentivizes swimmers. Instead of only booking one swim session with you at a time, they can book multiple. And the more that they book, the more of a discount you as a host are able to offer them. So maybe, for example, if they book one swim session, they pay the full rate. If they book 3 swim sessions at once, you can set it so they get a 10% discount, for example. If they go and book 5 bookings, they can get a 15% discount, and so on and so forth. We've definitely seen hosts have some great success with this. Next up, the premium amenities. So I love premium amenities. Why? Because it allows me to keep my base rate low and competitive against my other neighboring pool owners. However, should my swimmer be particularly interested in the bells and whistles, or the frills, if you will, I can charge them for each of those accordingly. Some examples would be towels, your fire pit, barbecue grill. I also offer my 7-foot heat lamps, which many folks opt into. I offer chafing dishes and sternos if you want to create a real catered experience. Definitely consider, if you haven't already, including premium amenities on your listing. Next, the live chat. This has just come out probably in the last 2 weeks or so, and already we're getting great feedback. As we know, as Swimply continues to enhance and become better and better, we do, as hosts, rely quite frequently on the host care at swimply.com email. They are fantastic. They get back to us, but sometimes we need an answer almost immediately. So in this case, please check out the live chat feature, which is available on the desktop version as well as the mobile website version. And you can ask questions and get responses in real time. I'll talk a little bit later about when is a really great opportunity and time to use the live chat. Finally, you asked and we listened. So Swimply is now offering unique coupon codes to each of us as individual hosts. If you email hostcare@swimply.com, they'll create a unique 15% off promo code. This has been nice for example, maybe you have personal friends that you want to book through Swimply, but you want them to feel special and they're getting a break, a discount. Send them this promo code. Some people generally use this promo code for all of their bookings. They when they post on Instagram or social media, they include this code, and that's fine. Folks can use this code one time for your listing when they request any bookings. The pool order search results. This question came up quite a bit in the recent past, so I just want to make sure you guys are aware. When folks look up your zip code, why is your particular pool maybe coming up second or third as opposed to first? Well, here is the logic to it. So the distance radii are 3 categories. It's 0 to 5 miles, 5 to 10 miles, and 10 to 25 miles. So first we prioritize showing you 0 to 5 miles. Within that 0 to 5 mile category, it's ordered by who has the most 5-star reviews. Then once we finish the 0 to 5 category with the most 5-star reviews, then we show you folks that are 5 to 10 miles away, again, with the most 5-star reviews first. And then finally, we'll show you the 10 to 25 mile category with those having the most 5-star reviews coming first again. So what is the lesson learned there, guys? Get as many 5-star reviews as you possibly can. This will definitely support and nurture your success on the Swimply app. Personally, I usually like to in the last 15 minutes or so of a reservation, I go outside to my swimmers. I ask, "How was your experience? Any good feedback for me?" And if I feel like they had a great time, I'll just mention to them, please feel free to share the same in a review on the app as well. Also, don't be afraid to go back in your inbox after they leave, in your chats with them, and say, "Thank you for coming. I had a fantastic time hosting you. Please feel free to send me a review." Bam. I just wanted to show you guys an example of an awesome giveaway that we did do in the first week of July, which was focused on awarding the folks who had the most hours of completed bookings. Shout out to all of these winners that you guys see in the yellow box here, with the top 3 being Ned and Ann in Colorado, Lisa and Rob out of Portland, Oregon, and Bobby J out of Canada. You guys did a fantastic job staying booked and busy. Please look out for additional options like this to win some extra cash with Swimply. Also, shout out to our top money generating hosts of June. We really like to present you guys with this just so you can get an idea of how much money you all can be making on the app. We have Rob and Lisa, as well as Blair out of Portland, Oregon, 13,000 and 12,000 respectively. Toan out of Washington State, 11,500. Jim B, who was recently featured on Good Morning America. If you guys did not check it out, please do so. Who made just north of 11,000 in Portland. And then finally, Neil on the East Coast, tri-state like myself, who secured over $10,000 in bookings in the month of June. And he's also hosting a host meetup in early August, which I'll talk about as well in just a moment. Congratulations again, guys. All right. So make your listing a social media star. Swimply is really tapping into all of its options in terms of how we can market for you as well as with you to ensure you're getting as many swimmers as possible. Now, from a holistic Swimply perspective, if any of you guys live in the area, you may start to see billboards, physical billboards, in California and Texas in particular. We've just started a wonderful commercial, a YouTube and other channels, but YouTube commercials are being featured as well. So if you get ads on YouTube or what have you, you'll start to see Swimply commercials, which are doing very well also. But just to talk a bit about how we as individuals can also market well for ourselves. I always love to call out the Orange Pool, whose Instagram you see along the right. Number 1, they have a distinct, clever, and memorable name, which is great. We always know where to find them, how to reference them. 2, put a direct link on your listing on social media. So remember what I said before about referrals. Take that referral code link and put it in your social media so that as people are figuring out about Swimply by your word of mouth, they can click and you can accept those referral credits. You'll see that the Orange Pool lists it right within their bio. Post and repost beautiful and enticing photos, videos, and promotions. That's number 3. And make sure you're using hashtags. So the Orange Pool does an awesome job of really staging some awesome content. As you can kind of see in the 3 pictures towards the bottom of the screenshot, they there we see children enjoying their time, we see guests enjoying their time, and then they'll repost that to their stories so they're getting as much transparency as possible. Number 4, share any great reviews you may receive. That I don't know about you guys, but before I buy a product, use a service, get a house off of Airbnb, for example, I want to see what other people are saying about this particular product or service. So go ahead and share them broadly so that people can get a pulse for the type of experience you're having or giving. Number 5, ask family, friends, and even influencers to repost your pool. Consider offering a discounted pool visit or maybe even for free. So, for any of you guys who use Instagram, I personally look for folks who have 10,000 plus followers in my community. Then I say, hey, John, will you come use my pool for free on this hot summer day? Typically, I'll focus on a weekday because that's when I get less bookings anyway. And I'll say, come use it as long as you give me five posts throughout the next 2 weeks, just referring people back to my pool. That's 10,000 eyes that are now looking at my pool, and I can secure more bookings. So please consider doing so as well. Finally, number 6, be present, be genuine, and be patient. For some folks, you start with Swimply and immediately there's just a lot of interest, and without doing any marketing, your feedback and your returns are very great. In some cases, you may be the person introducing your community to Swimply, that they're just learning or just figuring out how it works. So take your time, and I assure you, you will be successful on the app. Okay, a quick bit about the good neighbor policy. So, several hosts had reached out to us about concerns on how to navigate the conversations with their neighbors. Some of us may be in more conservative communities where when there are unfamiliar cars in the area or unfamiliar folks going to certain houses, the neighbors may have some concerns or some questions. Here are a couple of steps that Swimply put together to help you navigate those conversations. 1, just let them know. I personally tried to play the game of keeping it a secret, and it kind of felt like a 007 mission sometimes. You guys just come back and then just get ahead of it. They're going to figure it out one way or another, particularly if the houses are closer together. So just give them a heads up that it is something that you're doing. Number 2, let them know that you have rules in place, that there's structure. For me, for example, I do no music after 7 p.m. I limit the attendees to no more than 15 or so. And I ask that they carpool, so it's no more than 5 cars, so that they're not inconveniencing my neighbors. Neighbors love to hear this because, you're letting them know that you have it under control and it's not just a free-for-all. Number 3, exchange contact information. Please be the first line of defense should anything happen with your respective swimmers. That way, if your neighbors feel like the music is playing too loud, before they jump to calling Swimply to complain or the police, they should feel like they can text or call you directly so that you can address the issue first. Number 4, wear home. By no means is it required that we all as hosts stay home during all of our bookings. However, about 80% of our hosts do. And if you are one of those hosts and you're navigating some difficult conversations with your fellow neighbors, let them know you're home during the time of your reservations. Swimply now offers a $1 million insurance policy. This is awesome. We did not have this last summer. One may say people like myself were just living life on the edge. But this summer, we do indeed have one, which provides protection in the event that anything unfortunate takes place and there's a pending lawsuit. We all as hosts are automatically opted into this. There's no additional special step you need to take. Just make sure you understand that your bookings need to be booked within the app, right? In order for us to protect you, we would want for that booking to have occurred, should that ever happen, that booking to have occurred during a time where we have a booking in the system. So just make sure that everything is coming through the system. Any communications, any chats, please use the chat feature within the Swimply app so that we can most effectively have your back. The details for this policy can be found, I like to look at it from the desktop version. So if you go into the desktop version, take a look at the help tab up top and just search by insurance and the full details will pop up. In addition to the $1 million liability coverage, there's also $10,000 of coverage should your pool or any of your property be damaged during a Swimply reservation. A quick example of a time I needed it. I had swimmers and they were very lovely and they left and I went to my bathroom, which I allow them to use. And my bathroom, the knob on my sink was not on the sink. It was off the sink. I was freaking out. I was like, I never should have done this Swimply thing. This is awful. I panicked. But then I called Swimply. And at that time, it was actually James who was supporting me. And I said, James, the knob is not on my sink. And very promptly, James explained that I could get an invoice for the damage. I sent the invoice across, and surely enough, rather promptly, I was reimbursed and I was able to have that fixed.